Welcome. Here is Natalia Staropravo, and we are staying in the Ukraine Media Center. We keep on holding our briefings, and today we have Daniil Menshykov, acting head of Lviv Customs Office, and Igor Matviichuk, Colonel, Deputy Chief of Staff, head of the Border Control Organization Unit of the Western Regional Directorate. Let me invite our speakers, and here is the first question to Daniil about the increase in the throughput of the border crossing points. You're welcome. Good morning to everyone. As you know, intergovernmental consultations of the Ukrainian and Polish government have resulted in launching of the project Open Border. In the conditions of blockade of seaports and in the conditions of the full-scale invasion of the country, our economy is now highly dependent on the sustainable work of logistics at the western border. And the goal of the open border project is to expand to the throughput capacity of our border crossing points at the western border. This should be done to improve the work of business that has established new supply chains for export and for import. So the main goal of the open border project is to increase our throughput capacity of the border crossing points at the western border. And today I would like to tell you about the first element of this project, which is construction or development of the throughput capacity of the border crossing point Krakivets-Korchova. Starting with the end of next of the last week, the works were launched there, and we want to increase the number of cargo lanes there from 4 to 8, which is a double increase, which will result in the double increase of the throughput capacity as well. And the registration of cars, of vehicles, shall be transferred to the new lane, the one you can see in video, and works are already being done there, and therefore registration of vehicles, of course, will be arranged at the highway A4. This is a new road which was built several years ago, but now pavilions are being installed there, and both border guards and customs officers will work there. We intend to complete all those works in the near future, and next week we will open this new way. And the lanes which are now functioning in Krakivets will all be transferred to the cargo lanes, and we will increase them from 4 to 8. So we hope that we will increase our throughput capacity twice. The other pilot project that started today at 8 in the morning is increase in the throughput capacity, cargo capacity of the border crossing point Hrubushiv. Until now, this border crossing point has been functioning with certain restrictions. The restrictions were up to 3,000 tons, which means that only trucks with the weight of 3.5 tons could enter it. But now it is 7.5 tons. So we hope that this will also be an efficient move, and this is an efficient solution to help our exporters. This is the pilot project for 6 months till the 15th of December, and on the basis of the results of that project, we will try to pass some systemic decisions. The work within the open border project has been launched within Lviv Customs Office. There's the project related to Krakivets, which will be launched next week, and I mean it will start functioning in the new format, and we will really see that it is efficient. Let me invite Igor Matviichuk and let him tell about the situation at the border. Glory to Ukraine. So, just to complement the information provided by Daniil, I would like to say that the pilot project aimed at increased throughput capacity, throughput cargo capacity, has been launched not only in Hrushchev, but in on the 13th of June. It was also in Ust-Luga, and we've already got the first results of the operations. We can see that the amount is increasing, and we hope that we will have lower queues, because unfortunately now we have about 1,000 cars going out. Besides the Polish side of the border crossing point, there is also some work being done to find new opportunities for the Romanian side. And by 90%, we have got the Krasnoyarsk border crossing point in Chernivtsi region ready, and also Yakivtsi by about 60%. These are two new ways, and in particular, we hope that Yakivtsi will take cargo load as well from the Porubna border crossing point, because border crossing point Porubna also has about 1,000 trucks going out. We're also studying railway communication. For example, in the Romanian side of the Carpathia region, we are restoring the track and throughput capacity in the direction Dilova, Tarasova. These were the border crossing points that used to exist but were terminated. Also, we can see some increase in the passenger trains. Some additional trains are going through Mostiska too. And now, besides two intercity trains, Kyiv Przemysl, we also have Zaporizhia Przemysl, and some additional carriages going to Odessa. So all in all, we can see the increase. And over the recent months and a half, thanks to our active cooperation with our Polish partners and the state customs service, we have already increased the throughput capacity up to by about 30 or 40% as far as trucks are concerned. This is because of additional staff working there and the Polish quarantine services, first of all. So this really yields a sudden effect. As far as all the other aspects of working at the border are concerned, let me also tell a couple of things about the information people dealing with humanitarian aid need. This is the information about crossing the border using the Schlach system. We have the requirements of the cabinet. This is Resolution 516 with amendments which were made public on the 25th of May. So starting with the 25th of May, besides the availability of the person in the Schlag system, you also need to show the inspector, the border guard, or the customs officer the decision of a certain military regional administration or the Ministry of Infrastructure that you have got the permission, and you have to confirm your goal. This is not an additional barrier for volunteers, but an additional barrier for those who abuse the system. Thank you, Igor. Let me once again invite Daniil, and let me ask what the Customs Office does to export Ukrainian goods, and how do you deal with trucks? Well, let me share some figures with you, because figures show that business and economy are trying to readjust to the new reality of the wartime, and logistic chains are being reformatted. And let's have a look at the efficacy of all this work in May. So Lviv Customs Office made 2,150,000,000 hryvnias to the state budget over May, and this is a really impressive figure, because you know that there is exemption from VAT, excise duty payment for almost all imported goods, but we can see that trucks keep going and the revenues are great. As far as a fuel import to the country and the fuel crisis is concerned, well, in the first decades of March, we could see that Lviv Customs Office border crossing points had from 2 to 20 fuel systems, fuel trucks coming. Now it is about 127, so the increase is about 400 times, and this is also impressive. So I hope that the crisis will soon be over. As far as export of goods is concerned, we can also see some positive dynamics there. And starting with the 1st of March, we used to have about 300 declarations, but now in June we have 1,500 of export declarations, which shows that business has already readjusted its processes. And business is trying to readjust to the wartime and work to the full. And the last figure I would like to mention, since it's also impressive, this is the comparison of export and import operations and of the year 2021 and 2022. Well, in May 2021, the Lviv Customs Office registered 21,500 import declarations. In May 2022, this is 37,000 customs declarations, which is the increase by 173%. And over 14 days of June, the number of customs and import operations in 2021 was 10,000, well, now it is 17. The increase by 160%. So we can really see that business and the economy are readjusting. They are recovering, and the Lviv Customs Office is doing its best to really be an effective partner of business. Because in that way, we really have to rebuff the enemy in the east of the country, but also here we need to do our best for the economy to survive, to start working, to get relaunched, and to have the economic victory as well. Let me mention, colleagues, that in case you have any questions, you raise your hand and the microphone will be given to you. Please, we do have a question. Sviatoslav Trapchuk, Perший Західний TV channel. Here is the question to Daniil. Concerning the Krakowicz-Korchova border crossing point, you mentioned that there will be 8 lanes only for cargo. So this means that already now people cannot go there by car. Well, let me tell you in detail what is happening there. In Krakowicz-Korchova, there are 4 cargo lanes now. In parallel with that, in the new way, we are opening a new path, a new lane for cars, motor cars. Um, while the works are being performed, nobody actually feels this, and neither drivers of trucks or drivers of cars. But the moment, and I hope this will happen next week, the moment this new way will be launched, all the cars will be shifted to that way, but side by side with that, 4 new cargo lanes will be opened in Krakowicz. So that will happen step by step. At first, motor vehicles will be shifted to the other way, and then next week, 4 lanes will be opened for cargo. So nobody will be affected by that. Did I get you right that when these 4 additional lanes start functioning, motor vehicles will actually not go to Korchova? Well, this new way is located at the distance of 100 meters from the current Krakowicz-Korchova border crossing points. So it will also be included into Krakowicz-Korchova, but the movement will be in a slightly different direction. Thank you. The question to Igor, I guess, right? I would like to probably add, on the Polish side, in 2016, they built the passenger terminal with 6 additional lanes. I mean that Polish people were ready for that starting with 2016. And Ukraine was supposed to build this new way, but taking into account the reality, we will not be able to fulfill our commitment to the partners. So we passed the decision, this was actually the governmental decision, to have some temporary modules. We will have 6 of them, the same number as they have in the Polish side. So our task is to at least have the same throughput capacity for motor vehicles and to increase the throughput capacity for trucks. Igor, the next question is to you. What could we expect? What changes could we expect in the rules for children living abroad? Yeah, it's an important question because summer has come and we've got some addresses concerning this issue. So, taking into account the fact that there is resolution of the cabinet of ministers that does not presuppose such an option as um, crossing the border under martial law, the government has introduced changes. This was done on the 10th of June, Resolution 661, and it explicates the procedure for border crossing. So to cross the border, the procedure is facilitated because the social service will actually check all the documents when children cross the border in organized groups. And this will be checked and verified via regional military administrations, and with the hosting organizations, we will have contacts with our diplomatic and consular organizations. We will check the conditions where children stay there, and this is not only related to status children, but to children who are going there within organized groups. So when there is an approval of the leaving of those children, we will check the information, we'll pay special attention to it. So special attention now should be paid to cooperation with the National Social Service of Ukraine, where you can get this approval. So not to go into detail of the resolution, this is the key thing. The other thing I would like to remind you of is that it's generally difficult for children to cross the border under martial law. So over this period, a child can cross the border with one of the parents, the father or the mother, a grandmother or a grandfather, or the brother or sister who has come of age, or step parents. If the child crosses the border with somebody else, there must be the consent of one of the parents, but it should be certified by their care facilities, not by the notaries, or by the notary, but then it should be certified by both parents, confirmed by both parents. Thank you. So we have had Daniil Menshykov, acting head of Lviv Customs Office, and Igor Matviichuk, Colonel, Deputy Chief of Staff, head of the Border Control Organization Unit of the Western Regional Directorate. And our next briefing will come at noon, and this will be Volodymyr Trush, head of Ternopil Regional Military Administration. Stay with us.